You're welcome to Waves Africa Developer Channel, and today we are going to be talking about Waves protocol. In our previous video, we talked about the part one side of it. This is the finishing side. So today we'll be looking at the mining on Waves blockchain. We'll be talking also about the Waves NG protocol, and we'll also be looking at what does this Waves NG do. What is significant about it on the Waves blockchain? We'll also be understanding the process that are involved when changes and amendments are needed to be made on the Waves protocol. All right. So, guys, let's get started. First, what is mining? Mining is the process. Mining process is the key work that is done by the Waves node. Don't forget, the Waves node is a software, and it was written and built with programmable languages. It has two versions: the Scala version and the Go version. Okay, so because it's a software, it's possible to upgrade it, amend the codes, and implement new stuffs. Okay, so the mining is something that is a major task of the Waves node, and the mining has to do with the process of producing blocks. What are blocks? Block is a container of different transactions on the Waves blockchain. And the blockchain is a continuous link of blocks, all right, that are linked together with cryptography. So mining is the main work that the Waves node does. It controls it. All right, not just mining, producing blocks and confirming transactions. The Waves node also, in the process of mining, also helps nodes to synchronize. Like you can see on this picture here, there are three database here, and this arrow signifies synchronization. That's the key feature of blockchain. Every single node on the network must have exactly the same copy. What happens is, if this node receives a transaction, all right, and mines it, okay, so what happens is, this transaction is logged on this node, right? Now, with the Waves node, it's able to synchronize, it's able to communicate to this one here that there is a new data on the blockchain, and also able to communicate it to this one here, so that at the end of the day, these three nodes will have exactly the same copy of transactions, exactly the same copy of blocks. So if there are 400 nodes on the Waves blockchain, each and every one of them must have exactly the same data. Okay, so guys, the next thing there is the Waves NG. This is a very important feature of the Waves blockchain, and is worth talking about because it powers the speed, the performance, and the scalability on Waves blockchain presently. As you know, the decentralized platforms have an issue with speed, okay, because of the time it takes to mine and validate blocks. But with the Waves NG, which was adopted from the Bitcoin NG, it is a customization on the Waves network, all right, and it has a way of addressing the processes that are involved in producing blocks on the Waves blockchain. And due to this customization, it's able to reduce the time for transactions to enter into a block. Don't forget, a block is a collection, a container of different transactions. All right. So the Waves NG reduces the workload on the Waves network. How does it do this? It does it by splitting the transactions into micro blocks and a leader block. We're going to make a comprehensive video on this Waves NG, showing you the entire process and everything that are involved, and the tricks. Of course, there are tricks that are involved of actualizing high transaction scalability, and yet there is still a maintenance of decentralization on the Waves blockchain. Okay, and it also affects the distribution of fees in the block. What happens is, as a miner receives the reward for confirming a transaction, that is for mining a block. So if there are 10 transactions in a block, the fees that were paid by the users of the network are given to the miners. But the Waves NG has a way of rewarding these miners. What it does is, Remember, what makes the integrity of data on the Waves blockchain valid is mostly because for every new block that is created, there is a reference, like a tag, that connects the old transaction, the old block, and the new one. So what the Waves engine does is the 60% from the previous block and the 40% in the current block a node is mining is given to the miner. Okay, now I mine a block and the fees on that block I mined, 40% goes to me and 60% from the block that was mined before mine, that is linked to mine, the block that links to mine, 60% from there is given to me. Also, the block that is coming ahead of me, the 60% remaining from mine will be given to the next miner, and 40% from the miners earning will also stay with him, and 60% keeps on moving forward like that. Okay. The next thing that is very, very important and actually makes Wave stand out is how and the processes that are followed when changes or modifications are needed to be made on the Waves blockchain. Now, we are going to look at three ways here. We're going to look at three subjects. The first one is the procedure through which these upgrades are made. WEP, Waves Enhancement Program. Okay, the procedure for changing consensus parameters through voting on the Waves blockchain is called governance. Now, someone might ask, what can be changed? How do you mean improving the network or modifying it? Currently, it costs 0.001 waves to pay for a transfer fee for a transaction. If you're sending any token or waves or cryptocurrency from a Waves wallet to another Waves wallet, you pay 0.001 fees. Now, let's remember it is a decentralized project, so there is no single entity that determines the cost. It has to be something collective that is done through voting. All right. Now you could come up with a subject and you're like, how about we increase it from 0.001 waves to 0.002 waves? All right. So how can these kind of changes be addressed? Are there entities that would say no? Are there people that will determine the changes that occur? No. Now we are going to look at how this thing can happen. How can new features come in? How can things that has been on the Waves blockchain be changed if community is not okay with it? The next one is, after a proposal, the next thing that comes on board is consensus voting. After that, your proposal has been well dealt with, considered, discussed, and it piques the interest of the community. It is brought, the changes can be made and pushed to the source code of the Waves engine on GitHub. Anybody can actually add the code, okay? But you can't just add the code and it starts working. The next thing we do is consensus voting. Miners has to support this. And the last other one there is a block renumeration voting. In the first voting, we are going to look at it quickly. Okay, let's start with the procedure for Waves network upgrade. First of all, whatsoever proposal you have, whatsoever you want to add, you feel should be changed on the Waves blockchain, you have to prepare this as a proposal. All right, as a proposal, there is a unique category on the Waves forum whereby you can make your proposals. Check the description of this video and you can find it there, and you will see different series of proposals that has been made by community members. Some were implemented and some were not implemented, but at the end of it all, community decides. All right, now these proposals has to be properly discussed. Adjustments are to be made, and everyone has the right to say whatever they want to say. Everyone has the right to air their own point of view. And after this has been said and is agreed, anyone could, I'm sure developers are listening to me, anyone could make a pull request to what? Make these changes on the Waves code, on the Waves source code. All right. Now, even when you make these changes and it's being accepted, it doesn't just start working immediately. Features don't have to start working immediately. All right. We still have to hear from the miners. Now, what happens? Voting starts. Interesting. Now, um, after these proposals has been pushed, now what we have to get started with is the voting. Now quickly let me remind you, let's go back a bit to our earlier videos. We talked about the waves node parameters, where you define some parameters and some details, some conditions that actually determines the behavior of the waves node. All right. And if you check the video, you would recall where we mentioned about features. It is a parameter on the waves node configuration file. Features, we have feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, feature 4, and so on. So this consensus voting, the rule is this feature must receive 80% support from the miners. Every node has the right to say, I support this feature, it's cool, we love it. And the other, someone else would say, I don't like it, I vote against it. All right, this is what it means to be community driven project. All right, interesting. Now, after the voting, even while the voting succeeds with 80%, it still doesn't just get activated. It has to be approved. Okay, it has to be approved, and while it is approved, it's still not yet activated. So we have three conditions here. It has to be voted, all right, brought in and people vote. Okay, now after it's been voted and it receives 80% support, that means it is approved. Now once it has 80% support of miners, now someone would ask, how does a miner support? Let's say this feature, there's always a name to a feature. It's either feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, and all of that. Now if this feature is feature 10, okay, and this feature 10, we want the cost for making waves C, which is currently 1 waves, to create a token on waves, and the community is voting it should be moved to 10. So what we do is everyone goes back to I go to the configuration file of my waves node, you go to yours, and everyone goes, and I just go to the parameter that talks about features. All I need to do is add 10, because of course it will be currently at feature 9. So all I do is I'll just add a comma and I'll add 10. Once I add 10, all I have to do is to reload, to restart my node. And once I restart my node, this obviously means that my node is supporting feature 10. So everyone continues like that, and at the end, the network will weigh if the support is up to 80% of miners. And once it's up to 80%, now it is approved, but it is not yet activated. We still have to wait for 10,000 blocks. Yes, I can change my mind. We have been talking about miners and miners. How about community members that don't have a full node, but they are leasing? Remember, Waves is LPOS, leased proof of stake, and I'm leasing to a node. I'm like, I support this feature because I'm leasing to a node. So not just miners, community members who also lease to a node have the power to vote if their node should support this feature or not. Now, after 10,000 blocks, the feature gets activated. And once it's activated, the rule changes. And who changed the rule? The community. Okay? Now, don't forget, Wave mines, a block is mined every minute on Waves. So if a block is mined about an average of 440 blocks are mined per day. Yes, so 10,000 blocks needs to be mined before a feature gets activated. All right, and what we have next there is the block renumeration voting. This is a perfect implementation of the feature we just talked about. Initially, Waves was created with a total supply of 100 million supply. Okay, but it got to a time and miners were not comfortable with the reward. They were not comfortable with the incomes, the revenue they were earning, because probably it was not commensurate to the money they were using to run the node, the cost for hosting, and all of that. So they were like, we need a mechanism to increase the incentive. Yes. So what should we do? Originally, miners are paid, I explained it earlier, 60% from the fee that is generated on the previous block and 40% from their own block. Interesting. So what was done was actually a waves enhancement proposal was made, and this proposal was for every block that is mined on waves blockchain, additional 6 waves is emitted for the miner. And this feature was proposed and it got to the stage of voting. It was voted and it got 80% support, and it was activated after 10,000 blocks delay. And today, when a miner mines a block, he takes 60% fee, 60% of the fee from the previous block, 40% of his own fee, and for every single block, additional 6 waves is emitted. All right, that's a perfect use case. And in this case now, this is block remuneration voting. This is quite different from feature voting, because in feature voting you need up to 80% of miner support, but in the block remuneration voting, after the feature of 6 additional waves being emitted, this feature was still conditional. Like, miners can decide, how about 6 is too small, how about we increase the number. Now a rule was set by miners also that even if we want to increase this node, this amount that is emitted per interval, it should not be increased by more than 0.5 waves. So now it's currently at 6 waves, and if miners in the community intend to increase the number, it should not exceed 6.5. And it was also conditioned that once it gets to 10 waves per block, it should be minted again. Okay, guys, so this is all we have as a second part of understanding the waves network and the waves protocol. In our upcoming video, we'll be talking about the waves account. Okay, and it's going to hold on February 16th. Would love to see you, and stay tuned here. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Waves Africa community, where we are building solutions that will solve African problems, especially products and DApps that are related to decentralized finance, and you could get every help you need. Thank you, and hope to see you guys next time.